everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 3 of Skip and Loafer, and I'm really excited. I really talked a lot more than I thought I was going to in the last episode, and so that's really exciting. But yeah, so I've had some tech issues this week, so like navigating and getting everything to work has been very challenging, and so hopefully we don't have any tech issues, knock on wood, with this episode, but things have been really laggy and slow. My internet's been out for like 3 days. It's been a little stressful, but that's why I wanted to watch Skip and Loafer, because this series has been so much fun so far. I love the mystery behind Sousuke. I love Mitsumi's character. A country girl that's slightly gullible? Why? I don't know how I could relate, but I really can. And I love Mitsumi's character. I love the aunt. I love the friends that she's developing. I really liked the blonde girl last episode. She was a lot of fun. And then even the redhead that's kind of like, she's jealous and wants Sousuke to herself, but we know that's not happening. She's okay. Hopefully she'll come around. But I just really, really like the cast and characters that are in this series. They're wonderful. And the story is just so like, it's deep, but it's also really fluffy and it just feels good. So I'm pretty excited, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. But before we start, I want to give a big shout out to Anthony. Anthony, who's one of the patrons on Patreon, was super kind and found a way to get me the files to watch the series that I'm not, as able to. There's still been, I have a hotspot and I've been trying to like use it simultaneously. I tried to pull up Anthony's file earlier and it was lagging beyond all belief. Like I couldn't get it took me 7 minutes to get through the opening 10 seconds. And I was like, this is a problem. So I don't know what's up there, but I do have a hotspot. So I'm going to try to use it to watch this on a streaming service. I'm going to try to download the files, but it's just kind of a mess right now. And technology is not my friend. So y'all, I hope y'all can bear with me for this week and next week until my internet gets back up. It's been a process. If you've been on Discord, you've seen it's been a process. So we'll hopefully be able to watch it. But thank you, Anthony, for going above and beyond and getting me these files. I really appreciate it. All of my love. So I don't want to waste any more time. I want to jump right into this episode and see what happens. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start Skip and Loafer episode 3. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. The student council, of course. Yeah, not a big deal now, but she's planning ahead. That's her as the mayor. Oh my god. Oh my god. Her doing like the past. Like doing that interview. Oh my god. I relate so much to her. One small step for a girl. One giant leap for Japanese society. Oh my god. Yuzuki. Oh, it's the girl that looks like she's from Fruits Basket. Yeah. Kunume. Yeah, why don't you ask her? Oh, girl. Ah! She's so shy. An enigma. The secret boss of our school. I was the leader of our student body, all 26 of us. The hippo! She knows! Probably. Like this Sousuke's like, I don't know. Oh my god! Oh. Maybe Yuzuki and the dark-haired girl. I mean, the black hair, the blonde hair. I'm shipping! No! No, she's not! Oh my god, Sousuke's the alien! Yes! Oh no, it's Sousuke's face! No. Oh, have some tea before we reject you. Of course. I'm the treasurer. Oh! You can apply to join the support team. Oh my god. Okay, so you just rise up the ranks. But they're not doing a lot? Oh. Ah! This is concerning! Ah, to Tokyo U, that's where she wants to go. Oh my gosh. Ah, there's the silver lining. Time management. Yeah, she is really cool. Oh my god, her planner! To the minute! Oh my god! Wow. I mean, I kind of plan like she does, so... Oh my god. Oh, wow. So that's how we do. She's so quiet and shy. Oh, Kunume. I hope she does. It'd be good for her. Ah, but you didn't ask. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no, no. Ah! Oh. Oh, why does she look like a killer? It's like her nightmare. Extroverts. That looks amazing. Oh my god. Star Max. Womp womp. Yeah. Seriously, I understand the feeling. How'd I get here? Yeah. And he just wants a hot coffee. Yeah. No, I'll have it here. Yeah. It's limited edition, right? Yeah. To battle. Oh my god, Light Yagami and Eren Yeager would love her. It's Duck's first swim celebrating its growth. Yes! With the boba. Aww. Yeah, she's never had boba before. Maybe they have it, but it's not the same. I love her just like loving life. This is so cute. Damn it. Because you were bored, huh? Oh. Uh-huh. He doesn't take no for an answer. Yeah. But you're so different. Yeah, opposites attract. Aw. How? Right, yeah. Dang, that's some flirtatious line there, Sousuke. Oh! Ah! Shut up. Yeah! Let's send her a picture. Girl. Girl. Aww. Oh, yeah. What? Why didn't you invite me? Oh, no. And she has friends. Yeah. Oh. Oh, my gosh. Precious. Precious. I think she did. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. You're putting him at ease. Yeah. Oh. Oh, Kunume! Yay! Oh, Dreamy and Sparky. That's so precious. Yes, 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 yes. My best sweater. Yes, girl. Oh my gosh. Bold and cutesy stuff. Yeah, that seems... Uh-huh. Every one of them all at once! No! The aunt's like, no, 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 no. Ah. Oh! Yay! Oh! Adorable! Oh my gosh, they're all going. Uh-huh. Oh, crewmate, it's good for you to go with other people, too. That'd be good. Oh, yeah, that's much better than all the plaid pants and everything. Of course, Sousuke notices her immediately. Yeah? Aw. But we're all here, too! Oh. Oh, shit, that's an expensive bag. That was an expensive bag. For added sweetness. Uh-huh. Oh, my. Oh, yeah. What does she got against Yuzuki? Oh, because she's so pretty. And she's effortlessly pretty. Yes, of course. Aw. Aw. Of course she would, like, sneak herself right by Sousuke. I mean, yeah, she's very pretty. Girl, you're pretty, too. You don't have to try hard. Ah, he read right through her. Aw. Girl. Very much. She is, like, totally into Kunume. Totally into Kunume. I have to leave her for the popcorn. Aww. Camp Salted. Salted buddies! Yay! Yuki is trying to open up to her. So hard. Trying to open up. Wow, she could read through her. Oh, no, no. She is so self-aware. Oh. No, don't be like that. No, 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 that's not it at all. No! Oh no, girl! Oh no. Ah, Mitsumi, no, you're... Help. Thanks! I'm powerless! Oh no! Oh, I'm joining Camp Caramel and Salted. Oh, look at them! Oh. Oh, I love it. Are they watching Gone with the Wind? They just said Scarlett O'Hara. I guess they can't say it because of copyright, but it's literally Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler. That's Gone with the Wind. Oh. No, I'm good. Oh. He's like, what do we do? Good, yeah. Depends on what series you watch. Aww. Aww. Well, you don't know that. Does she just like him as a friend? Does he just like her as a friend? That's not what's important right now, right? This episode was so good. This series just gets better and better the more that we get into it. And this is Whiteboard Kun. I don't remember if I brought Whiteboard Kun out. I don't remember if Whiteboard Kun has been out in this series so far, but if he hasn't, this is Whiteboard Kun. He is the explainer of all things and helps me explain things. And I felt like I wanted to bring Whiteboard Kun out only because there's like lots of things with these characters that I kind of wanted to talk about in terms of like their insecurities, in terms of what they're thinking. Because yeah, one thing I really like about this, it is a very realistic depiction of high school where you're like making new friends, you're figuring stuff out about yourself, but you're also confronted with insecurities and things that you're not really comfortable with. And adolescents are in this weird phase. Like when you're a teenager, you're not an adult, so you don't feel like you have this control over your life like an adult does, if you do. But you're not like an adult where you feel like you have control, but you're not a little kid where you're kind of unknowing. You're in this weird period where you kind of get what's going on, but there's not much you can do about it. And so you're trying to navigate this world and figure yourself out. But that also comes with a lot of like soul searching and figuring out what about yourself you know. And usually, you know, peer pressure and talking with people around you when you're in high school, you start to kind of like, maybe depending on who you are, you start to kind of nitpick at yourself, and you start to see like things that you wish you could change even when others can't notice it. And that's one thing I like about this series is they point out how each of these characters have their own insecurities, but then the other characters don't even know it. The other characters have no clue what's going on. Now, some of the characters are perceptive. Sousuke is very perceptive. He is very in tune with what's going on in his surroundings. But like Mitsumi, girl, I relate so hard to her. There were several moments in this episode I'm like, that is me. I was like, girl, I get it. But interesting. So we should probably talk about this episode, talk about these characters, what all they're dealing with. But I just like that Mitsumi has her entire life planned out. She sees herself as the old mayor. As the old mayor, she sees herself as it. If you notice, though, in the depiction of her as the older version of herself, where she's the mayor when she's like 60 or 70, there is no wedding ring. Like Mitsumi is not thinking about a family. She's not thinking about a relationship. She's very much Leslie Noping it in season 1 of Parks and Recreation, where she sees her trajectory, does not involve anybody else. It's just her ambition, and her career. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am a single woman in her 30s. I definitely picked career over the latter. So I definitely understand Mitsumi and her goals, but I think it is kind of, for a romance series or a rom-com series, her character she flirts with the idea of Sousuke. She knows Sousuke is handsome. She's not oblivious to that. She knows that Sousuke is handsome. She knows that other girls think he's handsome as well. But what I like about Mitsumi's character is she's not obsessed with Sousuke like Igashara is. We'll talk about her. She's not obsessed with him like she is. She's not trying to date Sousuke. She appreciates Sousuke's companionship and friendship. And whether they are just friends or not is up to speculation, right? It's up to us, the audience, to kind of figure it out. And here's the scary part, because I want Sousuke to like Mitsumi. I want him to like her. And a big part of me thinks that he does. I think he does like her, but one, Sousuke has no clue what he's doing with his life, seemingly. So being in a relationship is kind of the last thing on his mind. Two, he's a high school boy. Being in a relationship, high school boys, they don't care. And then three, Sousuke very much seems like he's just he doesn't have to have a relationship. He probably doesn't know if Mitsumi, and I wonder if he's thinking too that Mitsumi doesn't want a relationship, so he's not pursuing it or pushing it. Or maybe there's some baggage that is keeping him from asking. We don't know. We might find out this season. Who knows? Or, I mean, the manga's ongoing, so I hope we get more seasons of this already. I'm already wanting a season 2, and I'm only 3 episodes into this. But yeah, I don't know. Sousuke is very hard to read. And there are times where I think he's into Mitsumi, And then there's other times where I think they might just be friends, and that's okay because Mitsumi thinks it's okay. So I don't know. But I do like that Mitsumi is like, look, I've got these ambitions, these dreams. I'm going into student council. Here we go. Sousuke and Yuzuki are there, right? And she's like, oh, it's not it's Yuzuki. We're gonna put their names up here because their names are a little bit, they're more difficult for me than other series. I don't know why, but Yuzuki is our blonde girl. We know about Yuzuki that she is a loner. She is a loner, but she is also very self-aware. Her and Sousuke are extremely self-aware individuals, right? So we have her. We have our girl Mitsumi, who is very ambitious. She is very innocent. And she's also very kind, but kind of a little bit aloof. She does not think she's aloof. She thinks she has it all together and all figured out, but she's kind of ditzy and doesn't realize it. I can relate. And then you have our dear girl that is our new friend in all this, who is standing outside the student council office, Kunume. And they're like, oh, someone beat me to it. And I'm gonna get past this OP here and get there. But yeah, Kunume is her name. I love Kunume, right? I love her character. She is very quiet. She is very shy. And she is very introverted, right? And what I like about it is that her and Yuzuki actually have a lot in common. They are not crowd people. They're not people. They like being to themselves, but they've also kind of like been drawn like a moth to a flame to Mitsumi. And Mitsumi has this kind of like fire around her, right? Where she draws people towards each other. She's so innocent and she's so like confident though. She's innocent, she's confident, she's kind, she has a good soul that people just kind of get drawn to her, right? Like draw little moths here. Like little moths to flames, right? Now, we don't exactly know what Yuzuki's self-awareness kind of is like. She knows that it's kind of difficult for her to make friends. And I think that she's like, because here's the thing, Yuzuki is gorgeous. She is beautiful. But like we see with Igashara, that beauty can be off-putting to some girls and they feel jealous or they feel threatened, or they're like, oh, well, she's pretty. Every guy's going to like her. Oh, she's pretty. Things come so easy to her. And what I like already is that Yuzuki is kind of like, no, things aren't coming easy to me. I don't really like people. This is kind of hard for me to be in this social interaction with others, but I like Mitsumi, so I'm going to be here to like, you know, watch over my girl. And she kind of finds like a like-minded bond with Kunume because they're kind of the same thing. Meanwhile, Kunume, she thinks that she's dorky, and so she's like, I don't know why these people would want to hang out with me. I'm just boring and a dork. No, Yuzuki likes that about her, and I'm sorry. I feel bad for the blonde boy because I know the blonde boy is trying to hit on her so hard. I don't think she's interested. I get the distinct impression she is way more interested in Kunume than she is the blonde boy, and I feel for that blonde boy because I was rooting for him, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I feel like her and Kunume are the much more compatible individuals. I love how Mitsumi questions it. She's like, I don't know if they're compatible or not. I'm like, oh girl, I think they are more compatible than you think. But yeah, they both kind of have very similar insecurities, which is funny because they both, you know, become friends with Mitsumi, kind of, I think, being, you know, kind of drawn in by the same energy, right? I also like how Sousuke and Yuzuki are trying to encourage Mitsumi to interact with her and be friends. They're like, hey, go get her line ID, become friends with her, talk to her, you know, how you do? And Mitsumi's like, okay. And I like that Mitsumi's not shy. She kind of like goes with the flow with it and is like, all right, I'm willing to do that. But also her asking Sousuke for help in all this, amazing. Hilarious. So Kurume Makoto, she likes books and potato chips. She dislikes shallow players. So of course she calls Sousuke the himbo and she's like, I don't want anything to do with him. He's just shallow. Sousuke is not shallow, but Sousuke is interesting, right? Sosuke is a very interesting individual, let me just say. So, yeah. So anyway, we get the student council who are hilarious and tell them, they're like, yeah, you can't just join us. What a revelation. You can't just join the student council. They're like, no, there's a system. And there's a system, and I don't know if this is going to work out for you. So, but I like that Mitsumi's like, I wonder if she wants to join the student council as well. And she's like, will it be a bother? And so if I like that poor Kunume is like worried that she's going to just bother people by her presence. And Mitsumi and Yuzuki kind of show her in this episode, no, that's not going to happen. You are not bothering us at all. So anyway, they go to the student council. I also love how, oh my God, I love just how Mitsumi like gets behind her and she's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, Light Yagami and Eren Yeager would be proud of her to battle. Tatakai. I love it, right? And so also Kurume thinks that Mitsumi is the boss of the school, that she's the secret boss, which is hilarious because when they go out to see the movie, Mitsumi kind of just blends in with the group. She doesn't stand out. She's not leading the group. If anything, Sosuke is leading the group. She just kind of like fades into the background, which is funny because Kurume thinks that she has such a presence, right? And she's like, she got away with puking on the teacher with the first day, so she has to be something special. But I like it. I like the bond and friendship that develops between them. Is she the secret boss? And she's like, come on, join me. And of course, Mitsumi just wants a friend, right? So they go into the student council, and the student council president, Yamamoto, explains, along with Takamine, who is the second-year treasurer, that you don't just join. You kind of start out, you work your way up the ladder. You are like the Drake song. You started from the bottom, now you're here, and then you just work up your way to getting to the council. And they kind of have they have their own whiteboard coon. How dare they get dry erase board Sama to come in and help them explain, you know? But they draw out this thing saying that you start out with the Tsubame Society. You start out with the society. You're like starting out here as the little seed, right? Then you go up here and you become part of the school festival committee. So you got to work your way up to that. Then you have the committees that are like the library, the beautification committee. What is that? The health committee, the PE, and the cultural committee. Then from there, you work your way to student government. And student government has one president, a vice president, 2 treasurers, and 2 secretaries. So there are 6 people altogether with that, which sounds like I would assume maybe the president and vice president are 3rd years and the treasurers and secretaries are 3rd and 2nd years. I imagine that 1st years don't just immediately get on student council. You have to like earn your keep by being in the society and the school festival and all that. Who knows, right? Who knows? That's just, I love that there's a big system to it. And of course, you know, Mitsumi's not deterred. She's like, oh, sure, I'd be happy to join. And then she's like, well, how do you balance your student life? And Takahime is like, oh, well, you know, there is some time constraints. And immediately Mitsumi is like, oh, no, I came here to study so I could go to Tokyo U, keep my life on track. There's no way that I could do this along with anything else. But then the treasurer's like, no, you can balance it. It's fine. You'll be able to balance it and it's okay. And my dog wants me to throw this toy. So that's why he's growling off in the distance. But she's like, no, that's why I have this elaborate planner that plans out my every second. I honestly, I can't laugh at her because I have a planner that's exactly like that, where it's like everything is literally scheduled down to the hour of when I do things. I have the heart of Mitsumi, but I have the planning of that treasurer. So I can relate to that. I was like, oh man, can relate, girl, can relate. And she's like, I'm not taking the easy way out. I'll take note of that. So, yeah, Sousuke does not think he's joining the society that we know of. He might, but I don't know if he's going to. He just kind of used it as an excuse to get away from, is it Chikakawa? He's like, oh, yeah, I'll never be on the Atsu Tariku if I leave everything to luck. And I don't know what Atsu Atsu Tariku is. And he's like, last week's episode was pretty cool. Is that kind of like Jeopardy? I feel like, is that show kind of like Japanese Jeopardy, right? And so I like that Mitsumi follows up and she's like, hey, why don't you come hang out with us today? And do you have some time today to hang out with us? I love it's framed like a horror movie. It's hilarious. But that's exactly what Kunume needed. She needed to hang out with people and broaden her horizons and make friends. But yeah, I think Chikakawa is his name. But basically, Sousuke was only hanging out with him to not go to drama club, right? But he could have hanged out with anybody. So I think it speaks volumes that he chose Mitsumi over everybody else. So now, when they get the Star Max, which is such a great play on Starbucks, when they get the Star Max like limited edition thing, I can relate because she has to go 3 hours on a train to get to the nearest one to her. My nearest one's like 35 minutes away, but it's still like a long drive to go find one. And growing up, like when you grow up in a small town, you don't have a Star Max every 5 feet. You're lucky if you have a convenience store, right? You have like a gas station, a school, maybe a bank, maybe a convenience store, and 7 churches. So that is your small town life, right? So things that are so luxurious, like I had a friend that lived in Chicago, which is like the northern part of the state that I live in. And I went to visit them and I was floored. I was like, you have a restaurant here, a restaurant there. There's a grocery store 5 feet from your house, from your apartment. There's like all of these amenities that are right at your fingertips. And they're like, yeah. And then they came down to visit me and they're like, there's nothing here. And I was like, exactly. So if you grew up in a rural area, you understand that getting commodities like this is not easy and you kind of savor it, right? So like Sousuke, he just gets a cup of black coffee. Now, of course, they're polar opposites. She gets the elaborate boba tea, whipped cream, pink, elaborate, drink, and he just gets a cup of coffee. They could not be more different, as Kunume suggests, but they get along really good. And I like the way that Kunume kind of calls him out, saying, you guys could not be more different. And when they're ordering it, she's like, oh, it's hard to resist something limited, isn't it? I feel you. Whenever something's limited edition, you just kind of want it, right? And she's like, it's so rich. And I like that Kunume gets to have it as well. And then she's like, Kanachika, there we go. Kanachika wanted him to join the theater club. And he's like, he just doesn't know how to take no for an answer. So I just couldn't be around him anymore. And so Kunume, she says, you guys get along so great, even though you're very, very different. And I like that Sousuke says, well, it's not like everyone with similar tastes get along either. So, variety's the spice of life. He's like, just because we think similarly or have similar tastes doesn't mean we're going to get along. So I feel like Sousuke seems like the person that needs somebody in his life who is different than him to like inspire him, keep him motivated, give him purpose, right? I feel like that's why he's kind of drawn to Mitsumi, sort of like how Kunume and Yuzuki are, because they're different from Mitsumi a lot, but they're still drawn to her as well. I like also the close-up of Sousuke with his coffee. You can see like she's already drank half of her limited edition boba. He's like, it's the little things that matter. Like how food tastes better when you eat it with that person. That's some deep poetry there. And also, are you suggesting that things taste better when you eat or drink them with Mitsumi? Again, it is so hard to tell if he's flirting or not. You just don't know. And I kind of like that. I like that it's not obvious, but it's interesting where I like that the focal point of this episode was not Sousuke and Mitsumi. Like it wasn't them going out on a date or them having this romantic moment. The goal of this episode was for Kunume to make a friend with Mitsumi and for them to like interact and socially engage. Like I like that was the point of this episode. And I like that she says thank you to him. Like the fact that Mitsumi and Sousuke are already on this I'm mouthing the words to you basis. Yeah. Are they friends? Are they more than friends? And then poor Yuzuki, where she was like, you guys didn't invite me. I do have Sousuke's sense of humor where it's like, send the blurry picture. Just go ahead and send it. That would be the way to go. Poor Yuzuki. And then Kunume, I love that we zoom in on her face and we see behind her glasses that she's just having so much fun with them. It's such a good moment. And then Mitsumi like texting her the picture being like, it was so good to hang out with you. Like that was so cute as well. Right. And so they see her off and then they walk back together. And that's when Sousuke says, you put people around you at ease. She's like, oh, do you really think so? But again, what's so interesting is, you know, Egashara, whatever her name is, we'll talk about her in a second. She overthinks everything. She's like hypercritical of herself. She, you know, tries to like kind of figure out what's going on. Mitsumi's not really worried. Like Iga, our girl Iga, she is sitting there trying to overanalyze and figure out every move Sousuke's doing and if it's flirty or not, if it means something. Mitsumi doesn't really care. She acknowledges when he's good looking and she's really good friends with him and they have a great rapport, but she's never like thinking about that sort of thing. She's just like, oh yeah, I'll send this picture. She's kind of oblivious to it all. And I'm wondering if, you know, is Sousuke dropping little hints to her being like, you make people around you at ease. The food tastes better when it's around you. Like, you wonder if he's just dropping little hints thinking she's going to pick up on it. And she's just not picking up on it. But we don't know yet. So yeah, and then she sends Fumi the picture. And then I like that she sends the picture back to Kunume. And Kunume's so happy. It's so sweet. So yeah. Then I like that the first part of this episode was super fluffy and nice. And then the second part was kind of like have the insecurities and angst, right? So Mitsumi, I love the cherry sweater. I love the bold and cute statements. Like I would totally have a bow purse like that. I'm not a big fan of checkered pants, so probably not. I also like how she's like looking at Mitsumi being like, okay, my niece has good fashion sense. All right, I can feel confident that my country bumpkin of a niece, she's doing all right. And then Mitsumi puts all of them on at once, and Now is like, no! I love Now's like, fashion faux pas. You can't wear all the good things at once. No. Her look that the aunt helped her with was a lot better. I like that she was like, no, we're gonna make this better. So yeah, so the English reading assignment, it is Gone with the Wind, if you didn't know. The moment they had Scarlett O'Hara on the movie screen, I was like, oh, it's Gone with the Wind. But, which I have read a long time ago, but it's a nice romance movie. You know, it'd be a great date movie. And Kunume, I like the friendship between Kunume and Mitsumi. She's like, don't you want to go together? And she's like, sure. And then they all catch wind and they're like, well, it'd be great if we all just went together and saw it. And Kunume's like, that's not what I wanted to happen. So that's all right. But they end up going together. And of course, Igawara, whatever her name is, she just instantly inserts herself and she's like, hey, can I come too? So yeah. So they're in Shibuya. We can see Shibuya Station. I watched another series recently that featured Shibuya. It was not as peaceful as this one. At all. So that's that, you know. But, oh man. So the famous Hachiko statue. And then, of course, he's like, Mitsumi-chan, good morning. And Mitsumi notices how handsome he looks. But he's like, oh, no, we're fine. And he's like, it feels like we're on a date, huh? And then that's where they're like, well, we're here too. Again, Sousuke is throwing clues. He's like, doesn't it feel like we're on a date? Isn't this it? Isn't this it? And Mitsumi is not picking up. But I'm like, he's hard to read. Like, is he being serious or is he just being friendly? We are left in the position of our redhead being like, is he flirting with her or are they just friends? Right? And so Kunume's like, oh, good morning. And she's like, oh, good morning, Kurume. And so then we have, now, our redhead girl, like, I like her. She's fine. But her calling Mitsumi and Kunume plain, I was like, girl. She's like, I want to stand out above them so that Sousuke and the boys notice me and not them. And I'm like, girl, that's a little bit petty. Although Mitsumi's backpack being 58,000 yen is insanely expensive. I'm sure the aunt got her that. Yeah, it's Now's backpack. That's what it is. Okay, Now's backpack, and it's 58,000. Yeah, that's really expensive. Now must have a nice day job. Just saying. So she's like, I, on the other hand, read fashion magazines cover to cover before school began. And I like that. I like that we get, We'll get our girl here. Put her on there. Is it Igashara? Maybe. We'll correct that if I'm wrong. But I like that we established with her that she is fashionable. She's fashionable, but she's also very insecure. And she really tries too hard. Like when she was like, I have to try hard because I'm not as pretty as Yuzuki. I'm like, girl, you are just as pretty as Yuzuki. You don't have to try hard. But it's that insecurity. And she kind of names all the stuff on her, all of her fashion, you know, that she's done. She's like, I look really good. And they're like, oh, well, let's invite Yuzu. And then she's like, Yuzu. And she's just very jealous of Yuzuki because Yuzuki is so seemingly effortlessly pretty. And she does show up and she looks great, like looks wonderful. And everybody's like, oh my gosh. I like the one guy in the back. Like Sousuke has his normal like golden retriever face on. Kunume is just like, and then of course Igashara, she's jealous. Mitsumi's like, awesome. The one blonde boy is like heaven on earth. An angel has appeared. And then the one guy that's Sousuke's friend is just there like, which is really funny. He just has no reaction, right? And then she's like, so are we grabbing are we grabbing food before the movie? And the blonde's just like, he's so happy to see her. He's like, it's all good. And that's exactly what they do. I like there's that one guy just sitting by himself eating food in the booth next to them. So again, we could note that Igashara, she positions herself smack dab in the middle between Mitsumi and Sousuke. She automatically always sits right next to Sousuke. And I can relate to Igashara a little bit. I'm someone that instantly gets jealous of people very easily. It's something I've very self-aware of over the years, so I try not to. But when I fall hard for someone, I fall really hard. And that's a problem too, because oftentimes that person doesn't reciprocate in the same way. So I feel for her because I can tell she really likes Sousuke, and I don't think Sousuke likes her back. And I think that she's trying to gauge whether Mitsumi and him are just friends or not. And I'm like, girl, I think it's going to end a heartbreak for her. I don't know. Because here's the thing. I think if Sousuke, you know, he's showing her the menu and he's being a nice guy, you know, but he's not, I don't know. It's so hard to read with him. And he's being nice and showing her the menu. But I don't know. The thing about it is, if he did decide to date her, I don't think Mitsumi would care because that's not part of Mitsumi's plan. And I think that's why Sousuke likes her, is that she's not a stage 5 clinger. She's just not, right? Meanwhile, we have Yuzuki, who's just like talking to the blonde about getting the spicy chicken, and Igashara is like, hot girls can make the simplest outfits look great. And she's like, she doesn't have to be a try hard like I am. They don't all need to try hard like me. And one thing I do like is that Sousuke, even though Sousuke kind of got onto her last episode for, you know, for being intentionally meddling in between Mitsumi and him, he's still a nice person and he senses her insecurity and he's nice enough to go, hey, you look really stylish. Egashira. Okay. That's what it is. Egashira. I swear, her name is the hardest for me to remember in this series. Egashira. He's like, you're pretty stylish. And he compliments her. He's like, are you into fashion and stuff? And she's like, oh, yeah. And then that's when Mitsumi's like, yeah, you look like a model. Which Sousuke's like, see? Look at that. She's like, you're really pretty. And like, tell me where you buy your clothes. And like, Sousuke starts the conversation. And she just kind of like, you know, tenses up, being like, it's almost like she feels bad for, you know, doubting them and thinking otherwise about them. And then she looks back at Sousuke, but Sousuke, you know, he's so hard to read, right? And she's like, you can tell she's trying to figure him out. He's a total mystery. She's trying so hard to figure him out, and Mitsumi does not even care at all, right? Meanwhile, Kunume and Mitsumi are sharing like study methods, and that's when Yuzuki tries to like be friendly and be like, hey, which, you know, Yuzuki trying to be friendly to Kunume seems like it's so out of left field for her, but I like Yuzuki for that. I like that she's kind and considerate and wants to become friends with Kunume and kind of get her out of her shell. That's really, really sweet. And so then, yeah, I love that Mitsumi's like, I've got to make room for the popcorn. I love caramel popcorn. And so then she's like, I'm in Camp Salted. And I love that Kunume says that. And Yuzuki's like, oh, we're salt buddies. And she doesn't know how to respond. It's cute. So yeah, of course, Egashira is like right up there front and center with Sousuke. Mitsumi's in the very back behind Kunume and Yuzuki. And Yuzuki's like, hey, she kind of is very self-aware and sees through all this. And she's like, you really just wanted this to be you and Mitsumi. So, it's okay. I understand. I don't like being around big crowds of people too. If you don't want to talk to me, you don't have to. And that's kind of not the thing. It's not that Kunume didn't want to talk to her. She just feels very shy and socially awkward and doesn't know what to say. And of course, for a hot second, Mitsumi, in true Leslie Knope fashion, she's like, did I read this wrong? Do they hate each other? It's like, no, that's not it. And poor Kunume, she's like, people think that I'm a dweeb. And she's like, I can't get all buddy-buddy out of the blue. And that's so sad, right? And I kind of am a sucker for the dynamic of the girl that thinks she's a dweeb, but she's actually super cute and she has really pretty blue eyes and everything. I like the combination of the really, really shy girl that thinks that she's a dork and then the really hot girl who kind of is a dork and that they both like get together. Like, I love that dynamic. I'm like, yes. I'm like, sorry, blonde boy, but Kunume and Yuzuki, they have my heart. Like, full stop. Right? And I think even Sousuke kind of gets it too. He's like, yeah. But yeah, so Mitsumi, she tries to get them at the theater to get along with one another. And she does it by combining the two popcorns together, right? I thought it was interesting. You have Egashira trying to sit next to Sousuke because of course she is. And then you have Mitsumi sitting in between Kunume and Yuzuki. The poor guys got stuck in the back, right? And she's like, I sat between them, but what do I do? She's like, how do I get them to come together? And she notices that Shima has the salted popcorn. And she's like, hey, you, help me. And Sousuke's like, okay. He's like, do you want this popcorn? And she's like, yes, that will help perfectly. And she does the really cool thing of combining the two together. And that's what kind of gets them to interact. And I like that Egashira's like, she's just going to town on his popcorn, like just eating all his food. But that's what it takes to get the two of them to come together. And it's so cute. And it's almost like Sousuke's kind of like, He sees what she's trying to do and it brings them together. And it's just the cutest thing. I love it. And I love that Yuzuki kind of figures out what's going on. She kind of has a laugh about it, being like, oh my God, seriously? This is how you got us to get along? Okay. But that's when Kunume sends her the text, right? She thinks about the limited edition boba and she's like, oh yeah. She's like, I did open up and try a new thing and I liked it. And that's because I stepped outside my comfort zone, right? And she sends the text to her and says, it's true that I don't like people like you, but I want to change that. I want to get to know you better, Murashige-san. I'm like, yes. I'm like, that's so sweet. I love that. And she said that like in her own little way. It's so good. She says, sorry about earlier. I love it. It's really sweet. And so, yeah, William Glable as Rhett Butter. I said Rhett Butter. Oh, my God. Love it. And then Mary Lee as Scarlett O'Hara. Uh-huh. We'll just misspell it just a little bit so it's not copyright infringement. Yep. And so, yep, then they watch the movie. And they're like, let's go window shopping. Doing like things that a teenager would. Like, you don't want to go in the store and buy anything. You don't have the money. So you just go window shopping. When I grew up in high school, we'd always go to the mall and just walk around. And we'd never buy anything because you didn't have the money to do it. You just go window shop and like try stuff on and take pictures with it. But you wouldn't buy it and, do all that sort of stuff. And I like that Yuzuki's like, well, what if we get you hair accessories? And Kunume's like, one step at a time. Let's not get hasty. She's like, but they'd suit you perfectly. And it's like, it changes the vibe. And I love Mitsumi's like, okay, I guess I was wrong. I guess they do get along. We're good. I just misunderstood. And again, Sousuke, who has not been around Mitsumi this whole time because she's been with Kunume and Yuzuki getting them all together, he comes up to her. Sousuke always comes up to her, right? He always finds her. He always comes up to her and he's like, so how's your first time hanging out in Shibuya? And she's like, oh, well, it was really nice. I used to think this was a scary place. But walking around with you guys, I get the appeal. And Sousuke's just like, he just smiles and is like, it'd be nice if you came to like it. Shibuya and Tokyo too. I mean, he's basically saying, being like, yeah, it'd be great if you like considered this your second home and didn't leave so that we could keep hanging out together. Like, he's throwing all of these could be curveballs, but it's like, is that what he's saying? I don't know. And Igashira, she's just watching them from behind, being like, is he taking a liking to her as a, he's just taking a liking to her as a friend, right? Because she wants to hit on him. But like, girl, he ain't throwing you these curveballs, I don't think. I think that, I don't know. I feel like he's asking her in giving her lines to kind of insinuate that he likes her, but then he might not be. He's so mysterious, and he kind of puts on a little bit of a persona from what we've seen with Kanachika that he might just be wanting to be friends with her and wants her around just as a friend. At this point, I'm okay with it. At this point, I'm like, because I think that Mitsumi's okay with it. Mitsumi, it would be, I think, totally fine if they were platonic friends. You know, that doesn't get in the way of her ambitions. But at this point, I want to ship them so hard, but I don't know if this series is going to give us the twist of, no, he just wants to be friends. And it's like, son of a bitch. Or what? Right? We don't think he has a girlfriend, but ugh. And then she says, I think of memories of places. I think memories of places are memories of the people you went there with. Yes. Which is why. And we see all them together. Mm-hmm. Which is why. And she looks over and sees Sousuke. And him just looking up. Yeah. Being such a daydreamer. And the blush on her face growing. Yeah. Yeah. Which is why I'm sure I'll come to love this place. Yeah. So she's like, the memories that you like are not just the places, but the people you shared them with. So I like all these people beside me. So I think we're going to have some good memories. Ah, so good. So good. This episode was great. This episode was wonderful. I loved it. Yeah. It was a good time. Oh, I really like this episode a lot. I love Kunume. She's great. Love her. I love Yuzuki so much. Igashira, I want to like Igashira so much. Girl's so insecure. And she definitely wants to try to date Sousuke, and it's just not working for her. But girl, keep trying, I guess. And then Mitsumi is my girl. I freaking love Mitsumi so much. She's fantastic. So, we'll see, right? But man, I love this episode so much. I feel like breezed through this discussion, but I don't know what else to talk about. Sousuke's still a mystery. So please no spoilers, hints, or clues, but I hope you enjoyed this reaction discussion. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll be back really soon with more Skip and Loafer. Bye!